Peace, what's up? Truth About Tupac Movement, Tupac Shakur channel worldwide. It's your boy, Asher Underwood, with the one and only Sean Cole, Nutt-so.
What's up, my man?
Man, it's good to see you, bro.
Oh, man, likewise, you too.
Man, for those of you that don't know, for those of you who have not been following this movement for the last 4 or 5 years, Nutt-so was probably the first interview for Truth About Tupac that took place on camera. I'd done an audio interview with Lionel Martin, shouts out to Lionel Martin, but Nutt-so was the man I met through Layla Steinberg, shouts out to Layla Steinberg.
Shouts out.
Microphone sessions, and we started chopping it up. We're talking about your history, and here we are now, 4 years later, doing it big at YouTube, all kinds of things in the works. You have a big history, I mean a deep history and connection to Pac's legacy and what you're doing now and your family and all that. So if we could just, for those that don't know about that history, just tell them a little about who is Sean Cole Nutt-so, how you came to meet Tupac, why you're relevant to the world of Tupac fans out there.
Right. Well, to those that don't know, government, Sean Cole, stage name, or also known as Nuttso Outlaw, or Nuttso Outlaw, as all my social sites would say. Man, coming around, getting to know Tupac, when you listen to, the music before meeting Tupac, it's like you felt like you already know him, like, you know what I'm saying? So for those that didn't get the chance to meet Tupac, when they hear their music, I'm pretty sure that they feel the same, that they knew him at one point in time, or that they would get to know him. And that's how I felt at that time. It was like both of them. It was like when I was listening to his music, I'm like, man, I know him. I know him. And then it was like, man, I got to get down there. You know what I'm saying? So, which kind of, play a part in that telekinesis type of thing, you know what I'm saying?
So going back real quick, before we go into telekinesis, tell me that. So you like get down there. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you feel when you first met Tupac, and like tell us about that call that you got?
Man, it was like I was dealing with MC Hammer, a good friend of mine, you know what I'm saying, a Oakland native like myself. So it was bound, we was bound to run into each other in the street. So, musically related, you know what I'm saying, got to kicking it with MC Hammer, you know what I'm saying, going to the studio, laying down some music, and, after a while, I just like, Ham, I want you to, manage my solo album. At that time, I was forming a group called Street Thugs. So we was trying to do some Bay Unity type of thing, which the other members was from San Francisco, and I was from Oakland. So we was doing the 41510 type of things, unifying Oakland and San Francisco, because at that time, it was a lot going on in the streets between Frisco and Oakland or whatnot. But I went to Hammer. I'm like, Hammer, I want you to, manage my album. I'm on my solo album now. So he was like, all right, cool. I was kind of thinking that anyway, and you know what I'm saying? I'll get back at you when I get a word on something. So I came home one night from Oakland, and I had a message on my phone, and it was MC Hammer. He was like, Nutt-so. It was a couple of messages. He was like, Nutt-so, man, I've been waiting for you. I've been looking for you, man. Hit me back. Trying to get you out here to L.A., man. Tupac, I want to meet you. Tupac. I'm like, oh, well. So I hit him instantly. I cut the message short. Yo, what's up, Ham? What's happening, man? Man, my bad. I was just, been out there trapping, man. What's going on, man? I can hop on that flight right now. He's like, nah, last flight already out, but you can hop on the first thing in the morning. So I'm like, cool. So I get up. I don't even think I went to sleep. I'm like, I'm gonna go meet Tupac. I ain't going to sleep. So I get on the plane the next morning, shoot down to L.A., hooked up with Ham. Ham put me in the room. I was in the room for a few hours, got a call from Pac, went down to the studio. Pac was like, man, I've been waiting to meet you, man. I heard your music, man. I love your music, man. I hope you want to join the team. I want you on the team. Man, say no more.
Man, so
I was with it.
So that's interesting. So let me ask you this. So since you bring up MC Hammer and the roots, I mean, anyone who's been around and knows the history of hip hop, like MC Hammer, obviously he came in the game at a very interesting time. He did his thing, and he was kind of somebody that was there a part of Death Row for a while. That a lot of people don't even know that Hammer was a part of Death Row when they think back.
Definitely.
A lot of Pac fans especially don't know that history, but also, you have a family history in relation to Keyshia Cole, your sister, right? So where does her relationship to Pac come into the picture? Did she already know Pac, or was that?
Well, that was through me. I introduced her to Tupac as well, and when I introduced Keyshia to Tupac, I was like, yo, Pac, this my little sister. He was like, what? That's your sis? That's your sister? I'm like, man, that's my sis. He said, well, that's my little sister too. So, you know, and that was they meet right there. So
That's awesome. And how did it feel? Like, how did it feel like being accepted by Pac? So, like you said, you're already a fan of his music,
right.
And then you know, you later becoming inducted into the Outlaws, being a part of the Outlaws.
Man, it was amazing, man, to, like, you know what I'm saying, to be hearing Tupac's music and then hear the history and the controversy that was being, you know what I'm saying, surrounding Tupac. You know what I'm saying, him getting shot, you know, going to jail, and everybody on the West Coast and Cali and Oakland was like, oh man, let him get through this, let him get through this. So, you know, when he got through that, Me Against the World album dropped when he was in jail, and we was on it like, oh my goodness. Then he did the song with If I Die Tonight. So it was like, man, come on, man, get up out that situation, man, so we can meet you. So, you know, then we hear Tupac getting out, we hear Tupac in the West, we hear Tupac's on the death row, we hear Tupac getting it in, and I was like, man, now to actually witness, you know what I'm saying, everything that I was seeing, like, come true, you know what I'm saying, on the back end, because I was like, wow, I'm like, it took me a minute, you know what I'm saying, when I met Pac, I was like, man, I'm here with Tupac, like, that's crazy. But then it didn't hit me right then. It later hit me, you know what I'm saying, when we start going to events and stuff like that, and we'd be out deep and all these little parties and stuff, then I start thinking, I'm like, man, I am in the center of hip hop. I am in the core of hip hop, and I was just like, man, that's what's up. That was it was kind of like an unexplainable feeling, you know what I mean? So, you know. So
and so it's interesting also because then Hammer was he was on the road at that time,
right?
I guess, right? So that was like an immediate, and so that's really interesting. So coming forward, so you know, one of the if we speak about the Outlaws, if we speak about your involvement with Pac, like, just real quick, we got to cover Ghetto Star.
Right.
And you know, that was our first interview where you tagged the line about moving people with telekinesis, and you and Pac both just like going in so deep on those verses. Like, you've talked to me a little bit about it before, but for those that have not heard that story and know the significance of that song and kind of where Pac's head was, where your head was, is young brothers from the hood, like you say, coming up trapping out the streets. We wasn't even calling it trapping back then.
Right, we weren't even trapping back then. It was, man, it was just, man, I'm trying to get it. You know, man, I'm trying to get it.
So
man.
So break down Ghetto Star, you know what I mean?
Man, Ghetto Star, this is a story that a lot of people don't know. So we was sitting in the studio, and actually we was riding one day, and me and Tupac was riding, and a beat came on the radio. It was an old school beat, and I was like, man, that's kind of dope. And Pac was like, yeah, that'd be kind of dope. I said, if I get somebody to redo that for us, you know, that'll be me and you. He was like, man, get him to knock it out. So I called my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, his name was Geo Twice, and I tell him, I said, yeah, man, I'm trying to get you to do, you gotta hurry up though, you gotta hurry up, man, I'm trying to get you to do this song with me, you know, for me and Pac. He's like, man, you playing, man, don't be calling my phone playing. I'm like, all right, man, you think I'm playing if you want, I'm gonna call other dude, man, you gotta get that beat from other dude, man, you know what I mean, so he was like, all right, man, what's the deal? So I said, all right, man, we need your government, we need your date of birth, man, we finna book this flight for you, you can come down here, me and Pac finna get in the studio, we need that beat. So he was like, all right, man, don't be playing, man, that's how he talk, all right, man, don't be playing, man, anybody know Geo Twice, that's how he talk. So, you know, I flew him out, got into the studio. As soon as the ticket was paid for, he knew it was kind of real. So he got on a plane, picked him up from the airport. So when the flight got booked, then, you know, Geo Twice knew that it was, you know, it was real at that point. So we get there, he like, so what's up, man? We on? I'm like, yeah, man, let's do it, man. Let's knock out this beat. So we get to the studio. He meet Pac. He like, okay, I got to get on it. And so he was actually supposed to have a portion of the beat already made, and then just come and just add a couple little sounds. And I forget the sample it was, but the Ghetto Star that came out on Better Dayz album, that is the exact original. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the only original song on that album. So, you know, that's what Tupac really rapped to. That's what we sat down and wrote to, that actual beat. There's a lot of people on YouTube and all these other sites saying that's not the original version. This is because there's so many remixes out there. You know what I'm saying?
So that is the OG.
That's the OG, man.
Better
That's the
Dayz
one.
version.
That is a trio creation right there. You know what I mean? Me and Tupac, we sat in the studio side by side on the board, writing on the board. My man Geo Twice was doing the beat behind us. That was a wonderful vibe, and until it was this one incident where we was in there writing, and this guy came in there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So that,
Right. Yeah. So this guy came in there, and you know, I guess, he had read the bulletin board. You know what I'm saying, on who was coming in on what days. So he's sitting in the studio. It's just me, Pac, and the producer. So he come walk right into the studio in the middle of us writing, and lean up against the wall and prop back. So we still writing. I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe that's, one of the homies or something. You know what I mean? Pac thinking maybe that's Nutt-so homie, right? So we sitting there writing, and then Pac just a couple minutes later, Pac just turned to me and said, "Nuts, man, this your homie?" I looked up and said, "Man, I thought he was with you, man. I came down here with me and the producer." He said, "You don't know him?" I said, "I don't know him. I don't know who he is." He said, "Wait a minute." So he stopped everything. Hey, man, who you here for? Who you here with? Because that day, the studio was supposed to be blocked off. You know what I'm saying? So it was just me and Pac in there and the producer that day. So Pac asked him, he was like, "Man, who you in here for?" And he was like, "Nobody." No, well, Pac said, "Who you in here with?" And he was like, "Nobody. I just seen your name that you was here." He was like, he came the other day or last week or something and seen that Tupac was scheduled to come in on that day. So he decided and took it upon his own, you know what I'm saying, to come up there, to show up. So now it's like, but he came by himself, you know what I'm saying, and he was in there. And so Tupac was like, "Wait a minute. You ain't in here with nobody? You don't know nobody in here?" And dude was like, "I just come to watch the session." Tupac was like, "Nah, dog, you gotta go." Then he got up and walked past him like, "Man, yo," talking to the, security and people. He was like, "Yo, man, who let this up in here, man? Like, man, all up in my session, man. And my session's supposed to be blocked off and closed off. My name ain't even supposed to be on the board." Blah, blah. So Pac kind of like went off and flashed on the people, the employees that was there. So they ended up coming, getting and removing dude. And Pac was like, "Oh, man, I'm glad that wasn't your homie," because I was like, "Oh, why Nutt-so bring this dude? Like, who this dude weird?" So I was like, man, I didn't know what to think. I thought that was one of your homies. He was like, "Nah, man, he's sitting over there whispering," like, because I'm sitting to the right of Pac. Pac's sitting to the left of me, and the door is like to the left of Pac. And the dude walked in the door and just linked up against the wall. So Pac was like hearing him whisper some things like Pac, like trying to ask him something. So I guess that is what agitated Pac to be like, "Yo, man, Nutt-so, is this your homie?" So, at that point when, green light, that ain't my homie. I don't know him, you know what I mean? So, that situation went like that. And it was resolved quick and peaceful, you know what I'm saying? So, and then we got back to work. And it was just one of those moments, man. It was just one of those days. And then another thing that people don't know about Ghetto Star started off with the title of Burying One of Our Own. So we was writing to the title Burying One of Our Own to the same beat. And then Pac was like, "Nah, you know what? We can't do this to that beat. We got to come like, I was like, "Man, I'm with it. I'm rocking with the punches. Let's roll. Whatever you say, let's do it." And so, that's how then he was like, "Man, I'm thinking like no hook, like we just come back to back to back." And he was like, "Well, maybe we just throw a hook in the middle. We come back to back, then throw a hook, then back to back." I was like, "Man, it's cool. Let's do it. However you want to work it." So, and that was the birth of Ghetto Star.
So now here we are 18, 19 years later, and Ghetto Star is coming back. Can you talk to us a little about that?
Right. Well, in the hood, you would always have a Ghetto Star, you know what I'm saying? So as long as you got drug dealers, the Ghetto Star ain't really necessarily got to be a drug dealer or a thug, you know what I'm saying, or a gangster or a killer, you know what I'm saying? A Ghetto Star could be somebody that's doing something good for the community, you know what I'm saying? So to bring that back, the Ghetto Star was going to be like a movement. You know what I'm saying? So Tupac was actually going to form a group involving me called Ghetto Stars. Me, him, and whoever was to be the pick. So from that, you know what I'm saying, we did the Ghetto Star song, and like I was saying, you know what I'm saying, you got drug dealers, killers, gangsters, thugs, and ghetto heroes. You know what I'm saying? They could be Ghetto Star. So that's what I'm finna talk about as far as promoting or pushing the title Ghetto Star. You know what I'm saying? So me and my other outlaw brother, Edie, you know what I'm saying, we doing a duo album. And we calling it Ghetto Star. So, you know what I'm saying, it'll be a joint venture outside of some outlaw material, you know what I'm saying?
And that's scheduled for release 2014 or 2015?
Yes, we're trying to release that this year. So
salute, Edie Don, Outlaw.
You know what I mean? And with that, man, it's a great album, man. It's a great album coming, man. It got a lot of hits on there, got a lot of kicks on there, man. It's, you know, we getting up them features on it, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great album that people want to check out, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it right, you know, so we're gonna do 2-3 videos, you know what I'm saying, put it out there. We're gonna really treat it like it's an album instead of just some songs put together, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, we definitely want to be a part of helping y'all get that out there, so
Almost
keep us posted. What do you think about, when you talk about stars, you know, we talk about stardom and all this, like, here we got the movie rolling out. What do you think about the upcoming Tupac biopic? Do you expect to be on there, your character, your scenes that you're a part of? Like, what do you expect from the movie?
That's a good question. Honestly, you know what I'm saying, like, over the years, it's been a lot going on with the Tupac thing, and a lot of I control it, a lot of I don't, a lot of he do, a lot of she don't, a lot of she do, a lot of he don't, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So I don't expect to be in it, you know what I'm saying, because when people write bios of people, they write their own perception of it. You see what I'm saying? So their perception might not include me, just for the simple fact that he didn't meet me or she didn't meet me or whatever the situation may be. What matters to me most is that I met and knew Tupac. I met and knew Afeni Shakur. So they know that I'm in Pac's life, as well as I'm on the album Pac's Life. You see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do something about a person's bio or a person's life, then it's not wrong to not add certain people in it, because that's, like I said, that's your view of his story.
Sure.
So who's to say is the right. So, you know what I'm saying, when they come to me or any other outlaws and they say, hey, what's your story? Then that story is going to be credited by those that do know.
I get that. So let me ask you this. Just because it's a current event, it's hot off the press, and you were there, obviously, within the inner workings of death row at a time, and Suge just got shot the other day. Pretty crazy event. And we were kind of talking before. You being connected with Pac, you're one of the people that has not only an open mind, and you kind of, you know, you knew Pac personally, but yet you're able to see how sometimes the fans only get scraps of information here. They think this and that. And it's just, Suge's kind of interesting because for the last 2 years he's been running around talking about Pac being alive, possibly smoking Cuban cigars in other places, and now Suge shot up, like, which in a nutshell, like, man, what's up with Suge in 2014, and what's up with this idea of everyone thinking Pac's still alive? Like, how do we rectify those two?
We can kind of blame that on Tupac, you know what I'm saying, because of the lyrical content that he left us, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I know what it is, but even when I listen to his lyrics, I'll be like, man, he said that, like, he really said that, like, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, it's a lot of lines that we can pick out of his songs that people is targeting to say, oh yeah, he's alive, you see what I'm saying? Or he did this song after his, you know what I'm saying, timely death or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, lines like, what's that one, Ballad of a Dead Soldier, or, you know what I'm saying, oh man, it's, you know, that's a deep song right there. So, you know what I'm saying, even when he say, you know what I'm saying, move
me and my peeps to a mansion in Brazil,
in
man, Jamaica,
and all that. Not even that, even the most important line in that song is when he said, a blind man in a dead body, I meant to leave town. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that right there, that theory alone right there, have people be like, oh, wait, did he say that? A blind man in a dead body, I meant to leave town. You know what I'm saying? So when you define, you know,
Please elaborate on the blind man and the dead body. That actually
Well, I ain't gonna elaborate
you said,
on
well,
it. I ain't
but
gonna-
you did say that's one of the deepest lyrics on there.
You're gonna ask that same question again.
Yeah, that's a crazy. I knew he was gonna say something.
Right. Something off the wall,
That's-
right?
Oh, that's off the wall right there. Wow. Okay.
That's that same thing.
Blind man and a dead body.
All right, so I mean, you know what I'm saying? That alone right there would cause people to be like, oh, he's in another country. Oh, he's in Cuba. From that right there, a blind man and a dead body, I'm meant to leave town and get my cash though. Hook up with Castro. You see what I'm saying? Blast
had
on
to
the
blast
task.
task
Yeah,
force.
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a lot that he wrote and left us, you know what I'm saying, to make him think that even in the song that I'm in with him, you know what I'm saying, people think he was still alive after that. I retired from a life that never gave me shit, but cash that I couldn't spend in countless cars. An addict for a wife, my life as a ghetto star. So, you know what I'm saying, that's like how you retire from a life, you know what I'm saying?
I get it. So, but here's the thing. Like, so we could talk about lyrics all day. We could talk
Right,
about
right.
clues and gang related and Wonder If Heaven Got a Ghetto, all about, you know,
All that.
I Ain't Mad at You. We go through everything, the canon,
Right,
right?
right.
But here's somebody, Suge, somebody that, you know, there's the theories, conspiracies abound of
Mm-hmm.
Suge's involvement. So half of Pac fans believe Suge had Pac shot. Half of fans are saying, oh, now it's karma. People
Right.
are out there thinking, well, maybe Pac's getting him back. It's just, you know, like people are talking all kinds of
Yes,
crazy
it's
stuff.
a lot of stuff that's
So there's-
circulating.
There's words, you know, there's all the words and the lyrics, but what about the actual statements that he's out there making these statements? Like, why would you think he does that? Is that publicity? Is it?
I mean,
should
I
we
wouldn't
listen to
necessarily say it was for publicity because you have to think what you have to look at what that individual is promoting. You know what I'm saying? So if he's promoting something to better his financial situation, then we can be like, oh, that's a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? But what is he actually promoting by saying that? Nothing. It's just regular conversation. You see what I'm saying? But he's basing his opinion on what he think because now everybody messing with him, you know what I'm saying? They've been messing with him for years, you know what I'm saying? And he probably like, man, all right, forget it, man. I ain't see Pac die. Ain't nobody who seen Pac dead. You know what I'm saying? So time will tell everything, you know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
when you get to a point, even when we could sit up there and you know what I'm saying, fake lie to one of the homies or something and then about a chick or something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I hit those or whatever. But then as time go, and you get used to that chick, and you get used to the activities that she's doing and the body language that she's doing, and you be like, oh, that's normal. Then you're going to keep it real with your partner. Man, I ain't hit them, man. I was just playing. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to unfold. A real person can't hide no fakeness. So he's just going to unfold and let loose his
And saying that, on that note, regardless of what anyone thinks it should, regardless of what the theories and this and that is, I mean, there's no denying that there was a lot of good that came out of Death Row. There's a lot of good that came out
There's
of
a
it. I
lot
mean,
of good.
Risky's here, you know what I mean? He, like, helped jump off his career as an
Right.
artist. You know, it's different.
Right.
Pac brought a lot of people together.
Definitely.
The label brought a lot of people together. There was a
Definitely.
classic artist that came out the road. So it's a current event. And, you know, I know you got to get to San Diego. You got a show tonight. And you
Yeah,
got
we
a
got
lot
a
of
show
stuff
tonight,
going on,
man.
man.
You know, got a show tonight, you know, opening up Keyshia Cole, my sis, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you opening for Keyshia tonight?
Yeah. So been on the tour, opening up for the whole tour, and Adrian Marcel is also on the tour as well. Bam. So you know we here representing, you know what I'm saying, truth about Tupac here on the Tupac channel, you know what I'm saying, at YouTube Space LA. So you know we representing. I am Nuttso, formerly known as Nuttso, but finna to be known as Sean Cole, you know what I mean? So we gonna switch that over, and anybody that's following me on the social sites, you know what I'm saying, is at Nuttso Outlaw, NUTTSOOUTLAW. Follow that, get with me, I'll follow back. Peace.
The graphic company on, that was September the 6th, that was that Friday. I took it down to him to his penthouse.
September 6th.
September 6th is when I officially gave him the artwork for the Machiavelli album. That was the day I met up with him. They were about to give me an art show. He was telling me he was gonna host it and everything. You know what I mean? The next day is, you know, history. That's what happened. You know what I mean? But he approved of the album.